Have you considered if that the movie Leave the World Behind is more than just a cinematic experience? What if it was a warning? Let's dive into the intriguing narrative of this film. The plot of Leave the World Behind seems to be a cautionary tale about our society's heavy reliance on technology. The story unfolds around two families, the Sanfords and the Scotts, who are compelled to share a luxurious Airbnb on Long Island during a global crisis. The chaos that ensues when the tech we depend on fails is a central theme of the movie. In one scene, self-driving Teslas are hacked and intentionally crash into each other, creating a massive highway blockade. This scene stirred controversy and criticism, particularly from tech mogul Elon Musk. Musk's reaction to the scene, focusing on the capability of Teslas to charge from solar panels, even in a post-apocalyptic world, was seen as missing the point. The scene wasn't about alternative energy sources, but rather the dangers and risk of over-reliance on technology. The film, directed by Sam Esmail and starring Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke, Mahershala Ali, and Myha'la Herrold, is an adaptation of a novel by Rumaan Alam. Esmail tweaked some elements of the book to better tap into society's fears as a tech-dependent community. The changes, while differentiating the film from the book, still uphold the essence of the original narrative. In the film, the Sanfords and the Scotts are stripped of their technological crutches and forced to face a crisis that they are ill-prepared for. This narrative is not just a thrilling cinematic experience but a wake-up call to our tech-reliant society. It raises important questions about our readiness or lack thereof for a world where the technology we rely on is rendered useless. So the question remains, was Leave the World Behind trying to warn us of something? Could the events portrayed actually happen? If the events depicted in Leave the World Behind actually unfolded as shown, would you be prepared? In the movie, we see a world plunged into chaos due to an extensive downed power grid situation. While this may seem like purely cinematic drama, it's worth noting that the vulnerability of our technology is a very real concern. As our reliance on technology grows, so does the potential for catastrophic events should these systems fail or be compromised. It's not just the self-driving cars, it's our power grids, our communication networks, our entire digital infrastructure, including banks. Consider a widespread power outage, for instance. A blackout on a city-wide scale could halt everything from traffic lights to hospital equipment. Without power, gas stations cannot pump gas, our grocery store shelves will be empty in 3 days, and our ability to communicate is severely hampered, if not cut completely. It's a dire situation that most of us are woefully unprepared for. The loss of cell signals, as shown in the movie, would be devastating. In today's world, we use our phones for everything, to navigate, to communicate, to gather information. If our cell signal was suddenly gone, we'd be cut off from the world, left to rely on our own resources and knowledge. Then there's the threat of potential terrorist attacks. There is little question that there are cells hidden within the country waiting for a grid-down situation to unleash their attack during an already chaotic situation. So when you ask yourself if you'd be prepared for such events, the honest answer for most of us is probably no. We've become so intertwined with technology that the thought of losing it is almost inconceivable. Perhaps it's time we start considering the reality of our tech-dependent world, don't you think? The reality that Leave the World Behind presents might not be as far-fetched as we'd like to think. But why would a former president make such a movie? What message was he trying to convey? These are the questions that may be swirling in your mind as we delve deeper into the intriguing narrative of Leave the World Behind. Just think about it. A former president, a figure of global importance, and a person who has had first-hand knowledge with the inner workings of power, and most importantly, the capabilities of our enemies. Instead of retiring into a life of leisure, he decides to create a movie that stirs up a whirlwind of questions and concerns about our society's over-reliance on technology and the very real threats posed by our enemies. But why? What could be the possible motivations behind the decision to produce such a movie? Could it be a means to provoke thought and discussion about our preparedness, or lack thereof, for a potential disaster or attack? Think about it. The movie showcases a world where technology, something we've grown so accustomed to, is suddenly and potentially permanently taken away. A world where we are suddenly thrust into the 1800s and our survival instincts are put to the test. It paints a vivid picture of the chaos and confusion, a stark reminder of how vulnerable we could be in the face of unforeseen circumstances. Now, coming from a former president, this could be a wake-up call. A call for us to rethink our dependency on technology, a call for us to evaluate our preparedness for emergencies, but more importantly, it's a call for us to acknowledge the difficulty we will have if suddenly stripped of today's technology. So, was this movie merely a form of entertainment, or was it a subtle warning, a nudge for us to open our eyes and see the potential pitfalls that lie ahead? Was it an endeavor to raise awareness about the risks we're exposing ourselves to with our dependence on technology? The creator of Leave the World Behind may have had more in mind than just creating a thrilling movie. Remember, sometimes the most profound messages come wrapped in the most unsuspecting packages. And this movie, with its gripping narrative and thought-provoking scenes, could very well be one of those packages. So what does this mean for the average American family? Leave the World Behind presents a scenario that many have pondered but few beyond preppers have seriously considered. It's a wake-up call, a glaring reminder of our society's dependency on technology and the potential consequences if that technology were to suddenly fail. For preppers, this could be seen as a validation of their preparations. The film's depiction of a world thrown into chaos by a sudden and unexplained event resonates with the very essence of their ethos. It is a good reminder of the importance of being prepared for the unexpected, of having a plan in place for when the unthinkable happens. The movie's narrative may also serve as a rallying cry for those who have yet to start their preparations. Witnessing the characters struggle to cope in a world without technology, without the comforts and conveniences we take for granted, could inspire others to take steps towards self-sufficiency. It's a compelling argument for having a stockpile of essentials, a source of power independent of the grid such as solar generators, and a plan for communication when traditional methods fail. For the conspiracy theorists, Leave the World Behind fuels the ever-present suspicions about the fragility of our technologically driven society. It echoes the concerns about potential threats, be they cyber attacks, government surveillance, or even extraterrestrial interference. The movie paints a vivid picture of a world in which these theories are not just plausible, but are in fact reality. How many times in recent years have conspiracy theories been proven true? Consider it for a moment. However, it's not all doom and gloom. The film also highlights the strength of human spirit, the capacity for resilience and adaptation. It's a reminder that in the face of adversity, we are capable of more than we think. We can survive and even thrive if we're prepared and willing to adapt. Whether you're a prepper, a conspiracy theorist, or just a casual viewer, Leave the World Behind offers a thought-provoking look at our society's reliance on technology and our preparedness for disaster. As we conclude, we have to consider that Leave the World Behind might be more than just a movie. It forces us to question our reliance on technology and the very real threats we currently face. It paints a picture of a world full of threats where power outages and loss of cell signals could last years, and where a calm vacation can turn into a survival situation in a blink of an eye. But more than that, it compels us to contemplate whether we are prepared enough to survive a similar situation. Are we equipped to survive without the conveniences of our modern world? Do we have the skills and resources to fend for ourselves if the world as we know it comes to a screeching halt? These are questions that the movie entices us to confront, and they're questions that everyone should be asking themselves. The movie also raises questions about its creator. Why would a former president be interested in producing such a film? Is it a subtle hint at some hidden knowledge, a secret warning of impending doom? Or is it simply a creative outlet, a piece of art meant to entertain and provoke thought? Regardless of the motivations behind its creation, Leave the World Behind serves as a graphic reminder of our vulnerabilities. It underlines the dangers of becoming too reliant on technology and the potential consequences of not being prepared for worst-case scenarios. In the end, whether or not Leave the World Behind was meant as a warning, it certainly gives us plenty to think about. It encourages us to step back, reassess our dependencies, and consider how we might fare in a world left behind. So let's take this as an opportunity to learn, to prepare, and to remain vigilant, because as the movie shows, you never know when you might need to leave the world behind. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. We are just getting started.